Can you escape your past? Can Hoeness really be deleted? Do we believe that?
No.
I would say to an extent.
I feel like after about like 5 years, it don't count no more. 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, I don't like when men are mad for things that I've done before you.
Oh
like,
my
if I did not even meet you, if you weren't even a visual representation in my life, you should not care. That's how I feel.
Now listen, we're going to get straight to it. Your Hoeness can be deleted. Now, before you guys click off the vid, because I know that probably triggered a few guys, listen to me. Just hear me out and understand. I'm about to introduce you to a concept that nobody on the internet talks about, that I've never seen anybody say. And if you watch my videos, you probably heard me say this before, but today I'm going a little in depth, and it's called the hoe reset. I'm going to introduce you to a concept called the hoe reset. And again, this is a phrase that I coined. I've been saying it for years before I even got on the internet. But listen, what I need you to do, put a like on the vid. We're going to go over some things before we get to the hoe reset. So the first thing we have to do is identify what a hoe is and the nuances of that, and just the complexities as well. So what a hoe is typically a promiscuous woman. A promiscuous woman. This means she's had a lot of casual sex, a lot of sexual relationships and things like that. Now, this is the thing. This is why body count matters, because when we talk about the numbers and things like that, it's subjective to some people. And I've been in rooms where people have said this: if you got over 5 bodies, you a hoe. That's what some people think. Well, if we go by, and this is me being real and being honest, being transparent, I know the game, I know what's going on outside. If you expect to find a woman in 2024 with less than 20 bodies, good fucking luck. They're all fucking. Do not let these chicks try and like give you this crazy false image or sell you an image of who they like this. Don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. Don't fall for it. Most of these chicks got at least a 20 piece. And if a chick getting, oh man, no. Like, listen, we're going to get to body count. But the whole thing is, as far as what many is subjective, because the first thing you have to look at is the age. Even when you look at the society that we live in, or even that you live in, because you might not live in America, there's a certain standard of what's going on and what's normal. And it's definitely based on age. If a chick is 48, expecting her to not have 20 bodies is extremely ridiculous, especially with the culture that we have in America and stuff like that, especially through her lifetime. But if you have 20 bodies and you were 19 or you were 22, that is outrageous. That is outrageous. I don't care. It is outrageous. So that's one of the first things as far as just the age. Now, when we get to the subjectivity of many, I'm not going to drag it. 20 could possibly be many. 10 could possibly be many. We could argue, we could debate about that. We could do all of that. But this is the thing. I'm just going to lay it out very simple so we could not waste too much time. If I give you a number like 50 in any context, no matter what we're talking about, 50 is many. 50 is many. If you scored 50 points in a basketball game, that's a lot of points. If you have 50 pennies and you put them on a counter, somebody could say that's a lot of pennies. I don't have to go deep on that. That's objectively going to be many in most contexts. So when we look at something like sexual partners, we can debate on 10. We can debate on 20. It gets very slow as far as debate at 40, not 40, but 30. And when we get to 40, forget, that's a lot. That's a lot. That is objectively a lot when we are talking about sexual partners. I don't care what type of culture we live in. And I understand that there are chicks out here with 70, 80, 150, 200 bodies. I understand that. 300. I understand that. But if we are just setting a bar, we could debate about 10. We could debate about 20. We not debating about 30. We not debating about 40. We just not. So we will say 30 is the determining factor. We're going to just pretend that is the cutoff point to where it's no debate no more. That's what in this video, that's what we doing. So boom, let's just get that out the way. So now here's the issue with that. When it comes to women who have a lot of sex partners or many sex partners and things like that, being promiscuous, it is hard to identify a hoe based on body count. The reason it is hard to do that is because only the woman knows her actual body count. So before we move forward, I'm not sure if I said it, put a like on the vid, but before we move forward, the one thing that we got to look at is objectively. We already defined what a hoe is. So if you are a woman and you know your actual body count to yourself, you know if you're a hoe. If you got a 30 piece, if you got a 40 piece, if you got a 50 piece, if you got anything above that, you're a hoe, objectively. Even if you got 20, you could still be a hoe, and I'm going to explain why. Even if you got 10, you could still be a hoe. I'm going to explain why. The ways that hoes are typically identified is through word of mouth, reputation, things that you can see, and things of that nature. So you're never going to know a woman's actual body count. So this is what you have to look at. And this is just me giving game because this is real and this is how I really do it. And this is the stuff I've been saying way before the internet. One of the things you have to look at is just the public bodies that people know. This is the truth. So if you know, whether through your friends or through the public or through just seeing what's going on a party scene or whatever the case may be, that, okay, you know, she fucked this dude, you know, she went with this dude, you know, she had sex with these two dudes or whatever, all of that. You could look at that and you could say, okay, listen, one of the things that I say is, if I don't know you and we've never had a conversation and we don't even be in the same places, and I know 3, 4, or even worse, 5, if I know 5 of your bodies, if I know 5 of them, you're a hoe, 100%. Because when it comes to hoeing, women understand the consequences that it has on their reputation. So even a lot of hoes try to preserve their dignity, and one or two things usually happens with this as far as them preserving their dignity. So the first thing is they do everything to keep everything low and discreet and just keep it all under wraps because hoeing is a sneaky sport. It's a sneaky sport. But the second thing that they do is deny, lie, put up the defenses, and even in worst case scenarios, I could keep it a bean with you. It's really one set of people that do this, but listen, they will make SA allegations. They will make SA allegations to avoid the scrutiny that comes with the reputation damage and even in some cases the disappointment of people who are close to them. So when you think about that, and I'll just keep it a being with you, I've seen like the most cantankerous, like just most stripper pole, booty shake, like everybody knows you're an absolute whore. I've seen some of the biggest hoes of all time lie about what they did. And it's like, why? Like, we know who you are. We know what you do. What's the point? What's the point? Even just to get this out the way, this is how this used to work, man. We just used to be talking about stuff. Like, it'd be guys and girls there. And one thing that would happen, and this constantly happened, when the topic of body count comes up or something like that, I say that, you probably heard me say this before. If you're new here, you haven't. I never asked a chick for her body count ever in life. But for some reason, when the topic comes up or we start talking about hoes or whatever, what chicks love to do is offer information that nobody asked for about themselves. Like, shit, I only got 2 bodies. I only got 3 bodies. I remember a chick said, for no reason, that she only had 2 bodies. Bro, this chick is a freak dip. I looked at this chick and looked at her crazy and just stared at her. People started laughing just because of the face that I was making looking at her. Guess what happened? She found another body. Oh, no. I actually got 3. No, bitch, you got 10. When it comes to women's dignity with this whole shit, they will just throw shit out and fabricate and try to do, I call it purity cap. Because what they will do is lie about how pure they are to try and create a false image about themselves for you to buy, to think that they are wifeable. And they might not even want to get at you like that. It's just something that they put out there because they understand that news travels. But listen, we got more to cover. So that's one way, just the bodies, you knowing the partners and the bodies. But it even goes further than that with reputation. All of those could have been one-on-one sexual encounters. One of the things that I say as far as how I determine who a hoe is and things of that nature, as far as getting the whole facts and hearing things about a chick, I say morality. Morality. And I'll give you 2 examples that are very common, very, very easy. Very easy. So what I'm talking about is the manner in which she actually has sex. So if a chick has gotten trained, automatic disqualification. Like, she said at the top in the clip, they said, man, it shouldn't matter, if I didn't know you listen, it'll always matter if you got smashed by 2 dudes at once and I got to take you on 7 dates. It'll always matter. We don't even got to do the dates, and you want me to create a family with you. It'll always matter. The other thing that I would say, because that's just one, and you might say there's nothing morally wrong with that, but again, it's in the way in which you go about having sex. Now, this is morals for real. This one right here. Let me hear that you had a boyfriend, and let's just say he cheated on you. He did you wrong, right? He did you wrong. You use your coochie for revenge, and you fucked his dad. You out of here. You out of here. You're an undeniable hoe. You use your coochie for the wrong reasons. Now, even if you use your coochie to get advancement at the job, I'm still going to look at that the same way. You're a hoe. And it don't matter if that's your second body in life. I'm going to look at you as a hoe. That's just what it is. Now, when we get past that, and I ain't going to lie to you, I love the stuff I just told you because that's game that I didn't get from the internet. That's game that I can't even say I got from somebody. That's game that I cultivated and picked up over time in my actual real life. But you could go all around the internet. If we're getting outside and getting the whole facts and then hearing what your boys and people in your community have to say, you're going to have to do some work as far as like, how these guys got, how you can, 16 ways to figure out if she's a hoe. You got to do that stuff. But that's the issue. That's the issue that we're going to get to as far as a whole reset in a moment. But this is the thing. When it comes to a chick being a hoe, you cannot tell by the body count numbers. And I'll get to that in a moment. But listen, the reputation is what is going to do it. The reputation is what's going to do it. Now, when we get past that, I'm briefly going to talk about the bodies and things of that nature as far as the 20 pieces. This is the thing, man. I've seen and heard chicks' actual body count numbers, stuff that can't be lied about. I've heard about it behind the scenes. I've seen them actually say it and stuff like that. And listen, a chick could have a smooth 30, 40 piece. And you would think that it'd be the chicks that you think is like angels and stuff like that. You think she is just such a great prospect for a girlfriend or whatever. It'd be the chicks who be fronting the most, who be having those like, just in that pocket, like that 20 to 40, early 40s, like that's what it'd be. It'd be the good chameleons who be having that stuff going on. Even when you get to people, I seen a chick say 75. And if you just look at her, you wouldn't know just from looking at her. If you have a conversation, you wouldn't know just from having a conversation. If you get to know her, it's possible that you could pick up on things, as far as, her freakiness and stuff like that. But listen, even the 70 piece, the funny thing about the 70 piece is that's just guys. She said that's not the times that she gave oral sex to dudes and didn't get no sex or nothing like that. It's not the times that she smashed chicks or to any capacity or whatever. It's not counting times that she got her coochie ate and dipped. So it's like, that's just that. There are a lot of other people she's had sexual experiences with. And the reason I'm letting you know this is because you look at chicks and you be, oh, she's a stripper. Oh man, I heard she sucked 80 dicks. It's chicks that you won't hear a fucking peep about. Who done put in crazy work. You won't hear a peep about them. They put in crazy work. And I need you to know and understand that, because oh man, yeah, cause she be twerking. Yeah, it's over for her. Like, listen, it's chicks that can't dance at all, but can suck a mean dick. But now that we got that out the way, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, which is the whole reset, because we've already established that the biggest part as a guy when it comes to determining what a hoe is through reputation. When you get past reputation, you got all the people saying, man, this is what you got to do. You got to leave your phone on silent and put it in a vent. You got to set up hidden cameras in the house. You're going to have people saying all that type of shit. Because finding out on some cold shit, like without nobody giving you any leads or anything like that, no information, is very hard. You're going to have to make pretty much, I won't say blind, but you'll have to make warm character assessments after talking to a chick and hearing her say certain stuff. But the issue with that is that a lot of chicks are chameleons. So let's talk about the whole reset. This is what the whole reset is. And this is, if you live in a small town, this is especially for you. But even if you live in New York or the Bronx or certain places, you've probably seen this. So boom, if you see a chick say something along the lines of, I'm tired of blank dudes, and blank is the city that you live in. So I'm tired of Buffalo dudes or Buffalo niggas, and you live in Buffalo, New York. Or, ooh, I'm tired of Gary niggas and you live in Gary, Indiana. I can't stand Gary dude. Anything like that. That is a sign. Or even just, I'm tired of this place. I want to move. I done did everything I could here. Any of that. Anytime I see that shit, I say, yes. Yes, I put a big smile comes on my face and I'm like, yes, it's time. It's time. It's time to do the whole reset. What the whole reset is when you have damaged your reputation beyond repair in the city that you live in the area that you live in, to where you can't even move to an area that is like 20 to 60 minutes away because your reputation could possibly follow you there and ruin everything for you there as well. When a chick has damaged her reputation that bad, one of the best things to do and one of the only things to do is get the fuck out that city. You've done your hoeing. You've learned your lessons. You've even learned a lot about guys if you're not just a dumb chick. You've learned a lot. And now you want to get an air quote high value man, or you want to, do whatever you want. You want better prospects and you want something long term and stuff like that. What you do is you move far away from where you came from, far away from all of the hoeing that you done did, to where the hoeing in your past won't find you and haunt you. Now listen, I can't speak for a major city, So I don't know if you live on the east side of fucking Houston, you can move to the west side and be. I don't know about that. I don't know how that works. But listen, but Buffalo, New York. If you live in Buffalo, New York, NYC, in my opinion, would be the soft whole reset, because there are people from Buffalo, I'm sure, that go and live in New York all the time because that's the biggest city in the state and stuff like that. So it's possible some people could find you, but it's unlikely. I'm sure there are a lot of Buffalo people in NYC because it's in the same state. But listen, NYC is one of the most overpopulated cities, so that's really not going to damage much for you. And that's going to be the soft hole reset. The reason I call it the soft hole reset is because it's too close to home, but you can still get off. You can still get off. Now, remember, we're still looking in Buffalo. Buffalo is a small city, right? It's kind of a small city. So listen, this is what you do. If you want the hard hole reset, and we talking about it like it's an iPhone or an Android phone, the hard hole reset, what you do is you move to a whole nother coast. Not necessarily East Coast, West Coast, but a whole different, I don't even want to call it region, but I guess we'll call it a region. If you live on the upper East Coast, you move to the South, you move to the Midwest, you move to the West Coast, you move to the Southwest, whatever you got to do. You move far away. But these are the typical places chicks go to do their whole reset. They go to Miami because like, come on, man. They welcome hoes with open arms in Miami. What are we talking about? Atlanta. Absolute black people absolutely love Atlanta. It's one of the fastest growing cities, all that good stuff. Houston. That's another one. So we just went in a line down the South. We're going to throw NYC in the mix. If you're not from NYC and you from one of those other like from another state that's not in the East Coast, you can move to NYC. You know, the Midwest, people don't really, it's nothing sexy in it. Nobody's really going to Chicago to do their whole research. Because why would you move to a cold ass city? No, hoes love heat. Hoes love having their cheeks out. Hoes love sunlight. Hoes, bruh, even though a hoe is never cold, if a hoe got a choice, a hoe is going to be hot. So she going to the South. Now, when we get past the South, you could even throw a Dallas in there. You know, you could throw a Dallas in there. When we get past that, it's only really one place in the West that is likely to be the move. And that is LA, Los Angeles, the whole capital of the entire West Coast. Now, yeah, you could go and do some Mesa, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. You could do some San Francisco, San Diego. You're not going to do Oakland. Oakland is not sexy. But yeah, you're going to do something like that. LA is typically the go-to. So with that, this is the thing about the whole reset. We mentioned that the reputation is not going to follow you to another coast. The likelihood of that is so low. It's extremely low, no matter what's going on. I know the internet exists. People don't hate you that much to where they gonna just be trying to go through social media to contact everybody you know to let them know that you had sex with 82 people or like the 5 people that they know. Like, ain't nobody about to do that. You were safe. Once you get to another, you were safe. So all the mistakes that you made in your early 20s, your mid 20s, possibly even your just your 20s in general, your teen years, because you might have had an early career. You might have started early. You might have been sucking dick on a bus. You know, now in your 30s or your late 20s, now you can just have that fresh start. Now you can come out and, you know, start acting like you deserve 7 days. And now, and this is the thing about the whole reset. Reputation. Reputation is how most hoes are typically identified. Outside of reputation, it becomes very hard to identify who a hoe is when we're talking about chameleons. Not strippers and stuff like that, but chameleons. So once you get out of there, you have no reputation. You have a clean slate. And you're not going to get out there and start popping your ass, right? You're not going to do that unless you're dumb, unless you're doing a whole reset at 23. And even then, you could still move to another city. You could go to fucking Portland, Oregon. Nobody's going to Portland, Oregon. You'll be cool there. You get you a nice lumberjack. You'll be all right. Now listen, because some of y'all be like overly serious. Some of the stuff that I'm saying is clearly jokes. Some of you don't have a sense of humor. Lighten the fuck up. But with that, that's all for today for the most part, man. I think I laid it out pretty clear. What they can do as far as deleting their wholeness is go to a place that nobody knows where they're from. They could just delete the reputation side, because this is the one thing that you can't delete. The one thing that you can't delete is your actual body count. So you were still a hoe. You could tell yourself, I have changed. You could tell yourself I'm a different woman. You could do it. You could say I had a whole face. You could do all that stuff to comfort you. But listen, at the end of the day, you still got trained. At the end of the day, you still did 100 laps around the city. Like at the end of the day, you still went crazy. At the end of the day, you still backshot Becky. And if somebody from your city see you, you're going to be backshot Becky. That's just what it is, man. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gone.